It's Deidre. Hello, it's Deidre. And today I am in my pajamas and I am very comfortable. I have got my coffee. I remembered to turn my lights on today, my purple lights. So let's begin. Found porn download on my boyfriend's phone. I, 25 female, have been in a relationship for 9 years. 26 male is who she's with. We have a healthy relationship with a few fights. Oh, with very few fights. Of course, we have some arguments, but we always manage to resolve them through conversation. We are currently on a 27-day trip to Florida, visiting his family. My sibling took advantage of our stay here and came to spend 5 days in Florida as well. Those 5 days were super fun, and today we took them to the airport so they could head back home. However, we forgot to do early check-in, so while my partner was driving, I used his phone to complete the check-in process. I needed to upload a picture of my sibling's passport, but it wasn't working, so I tried a different approach. I scanned the passport. I scanned the passport and saved the PDF in the Files app on the iPhone. When I opened the Files app to find where I had saved the file, I came across countless photos of naked women. Pornography, to be clear. I never knew he did this. In these 9 years, this had never been a topic in our relationship. There were photos dating back approximately 2 years up until now. At the moment, I was in shock because I wasn't intentionally snooping through his phone to find something like that. I was just trying to complete the check-in. When he saw that I had discovered these photos, we talked about it, and he said he didn't see anything wrong with it, had nothing to say about it, and that during these 9 years, I had never told him I didn't like it. If he did this, I was so taken aback that I couldn't have a proper conversation about it or express my opinion. I just stayed silent. Now, after several hours have passed, many questions have arisen in my mind. We're together practically all the time, every day. So when does this even happen? And why keep a collection like this saved on a phone? Couldn't he just watch it online when he wanted to? Downloading and keeping an entire folder of porn shocked me. Do he pay for this? Because I think paying to see naked women is no different from going to a strip club and paying to watch women undress. And if that's the case, I feel betrayed. Have he ever paid to watch any person online perform whatever they wanted? Like through a webcam? In short, all these questions are bothering me deeply, and I feel embarrassed and afraid to start this conversation. I always don't know how to bring this topic up again because he have already gone back to acting as if nothing happened. So this is one of those topics where it's easy for everyone to have, their own opinion, but for each person it's going to be different and it's not necessarily wrong. And it sounds like she is of the mindset that bothers her husband-looking partner. It says relationship. It doesn't say if they were married or not. I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't. But yeah, she is a person who would be bothered by this, and that's okay. Personally, I am a person where I don't care if my partner looks at porn. Like, it's not personal. I don't see it as something personal. In fact, I am far more likely to tease my partner if I see porn on his phone. However, I would be concerned if he was saving porn. That's a little weird. That makes it a little bit personal because it's a little different than just, looking at someone you don't know and then moving on. But that's just me. So let's respect her and what she has decided here for herself. If it makes her uncomfortable, she is well within her right to feel that discomfort in finding porn on his phone. So the first thing I want to point out is, the second thing, is that they have been together for 9 years. She is 25 years old. That means they met when they were teenagers. And I've said this a million times in my previous videos. When you start a relationship in your teenage years, late teens or whatever, it sounds like they were 16. If you start a relationship when you're that young, chances are it's not going to be the relationship of your life. I know people don't like to hear that, but I don't think it's as realistic as a lot of people think. You become a very different person in those transitional years into adulthood. You start discovering who you are into your 20s, you go to college, you live a life. You become a more evolved version of yourself. You learn what you like, what you don't like. You can become a completely different person. between teenage years and, mature adulthood. Okay, having said that, I actually want to point that out because it's highly unlikely that in those 9 years, she has had much experience in relationships. And I think that she hasn't had a chance to develop a sense of who she is as an individual. I don't know her, but I just want to say it's apparent that she hasn't had much experience relationship-wise. She's had this guy. It's been him since she was 16. And 16 years old is an age where most people have not yet developed a sense of security or self-esteem. She likely attached to a person before that part of her brain was developed. She likely attached to a person before that sense of herself was developed. And I wonder if in some ways, starting a relationship so young kind of keeps you guys there mentally as far as what you expect from each other a little bit. She sees the porns on his phone. They've been together for 9 years and never talked about porns. First, I would say, if you felt so badly about it, if you felt so strongly about something that is now so normal in our society, if you felt so strongly about it, I feel like this is something that should have come up at least once in the 9 years. I don't think it's fair to suddenly throw it on him 9 years into the relationship. If he has never cheated and he is a loyal boyfriend, I'm not trying to, invalidate her feelings here. Honestly, it sounds like a normal guy. Honestly, it does. It's hard for me to say this because to me, it's a normal guy. I'm not going to deprive my partner of his, personal time. I'm not always available. I'm not always, going to be there to, I don't know. I don't want to approach this from the mindset of someone who is not offended. I'm trying to empathize with the OP here, but it's really hard because I've seen a lot of shit and she hasn't. She has a lot of questions. Let's ask those questions again. When does this happen? They're together all the time. When does he even have time to do that? And why keep a collection like this saved on the phone? I'll admit the collection on the phone is a little weird. That's kind of weird. I mean, it's 2025. You don't need to save porn. You just basically open a tab and 3 clicks you find porn. You don't have to save it. It's not storing it away for the winter. Or he could be saving it to keep from having to put it in his search history. Maybe he had some idea that she wouldn't like it. Maybe he has some idea that this is not something. There had to have been a conversation over the past 9 years that alluded to her possibly not being okay with this. So in that case, I can see why he might feel the need to create a stash. Her other questions. Couldn't he just watch it online when he wanted to? No? Okay, we just discussed that. No, he couldn't. In this situation, if he kind of knew that maybe you wouldn't like it, no, he probably couldn't. Downloading and keeping an entire folder of porn shocked me. Do he pay for this? That's a good question. If he's paying for it, I would probably side with her on this one as well. I don't mind if my person looks at porn, but if you're going to pay for it, there's going to be a problem. That's a little too personal in my opinion. I think it crosses the line a little bit because that means you're building some sort of connection, be it emotional or psychological dependence on this individual person to the point where you're willing to pay them money to show it to you. Like, that's not okay. And worse than that is paying for a performance, which she also says here. If you're paying a specific person for you might as well be cheating. Just go cheat. Like, I don't like that. Look at porn. That's fine. Pay for a specific person's porn or a private performance? No, that's cheating. That's too personal. So let's look at some of the comments. There's really not that many, to be honest. So let's see what stands out. This is a good one. Lots of downvotes from people either in denial or too young to know any better. Whoops, I kicked the camera. Porn is common. It doesn't matter if you think it's morally reprehensible or harmful. That's not the discussion. It is extremely common, and men who have no interest in it are the very deep minority. You can and probably will downvote this, but you're setting yourself up for disappointment by having unfair standards for your partner. if you don't acknowledge this. Now, that being said, if you are not comfortable with it, you should talk to him. If you've never told him you consider porn to be cheating, then he can't really be blamed here. Tell him how it makes you feel, and then you both need to have a realistic reevaluation of the relationship. This might be the thing that allows them to start to part ways, because like I said, you transition from teenage years into adulthood, you become different people. This might be the thing that makes them start thinking in that direction. I have more to say, but I'm not going to say it yet. I'll finish reading this. It either continues or it doesn't, but expectations need to be set now so that both of you know when you're harming the other. That's true. It is okay to not want to be with a man who looks at porn, but it is not okay to just expect that every man will automatically know how you feel about it and stop doing it. Communicate. Now is where you find out if you're actually right for each other. Those are very beautiful words, and they're very true. That's not something that happens till a wee bit later in your 20s. And you start becoming different people. When you start developing individually, you start to really ask yourself, is this the right person? Is this person going in the same direction? Anyways, another commenter said, if you don't feel comfortable with him doing this, you have to set your boundaries. Either he agrees or he doesn't, and you either compromise or you don't. Pretty straightforward and very true. I personally, when it comes to this type of issue, cheating is something different. If you can't stop cheating, you gotta go. But if he is struggling to stop looking at porn, it almost feels kind of inhumane to me to expect him to live up to that. Maybe a little bit dehumanizing. I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, it's not something that would bother me. I would never want to dehumanize my partner. It's almost as if it's his mother shaming him. No, it makes me uncomfortable to think of expecting my partner to suffer, struggle, and then I myself cannot live up to whatever his, down there needs are because I'm nursing a baby or whatever the frick. I would like my partner to be able to have that time alone with his body. It doesn't always have to be with me. It can't be with another person, but it don't always have to be with me. He can, one-on-one be with his body. And realistically, he was probably doing that just fine before they met. So to expect him to not find comfort in that process is a little bit inhumane. That's the best word I can come up with for how I feel about that. Let's read some more comments. Many people watch porn, even in serious relationships, men and women included, and also saving it, although seemingly unnecessary since there's so much online, may not always be the case. Many places are banning it, or sites are pulling out of places. What? Like Florida recently passed a bill requiring government ID to access Pornhub, so Pornhub just pulled access to the state. What the frig? I don't see the issue with requiring ID, honestly. That sounds like a step in the right direction. But whatever. That said, this is something that should be discussed with your boyfriend. If it makes you uncomfortable, tell him that. This is one of those things that people assume is okay unless their partner says it's not. No, I think he had some idea that she wasn't okay with it because he was hiding it. 9 years. 9 years they were together and she only sees porns dating from 2 years back, she said? Yes. There were photos. There were photos dating back approximately 2 years up until now. That's a little weird. I don't think he went 7 years without looking at porn. Although I don't agree with porn as cheating, except the example you gave with a webcam. Yeah, that's cheating. That's questionable in a serious relationship. If you do think it's cheating, then please tell him that. Have a real conversation with him, even if it makes you both uncomfortable. Better that everything is out in the open than left to fester. Sounds like they were talking about it. She just couldn't process at the time. So, this was posted 3 days ago. So I hope within the past 3 days and, a few Reddit comments here, she was able to make a more clear discussion with her partner here. Let me see if there are any comments in support of that stance of no porns. Oh, this is interesting. So this person says, most men watch or look at porn. He probably does it in the shower or when you're not at home. He downloaded some porn of his favorite pics. So what? If you really want to know if he's been paying for it, you need to be an adult and have an adult conversation about it, which is true. But she did. Well, she was flustered. She just didn't get to continue the conversation. They've been together 9 years. I think they can probably communicate. It sounds like they can, I guess, but she's flustered. And someone replied, "Porn is unhealthy to consume and something to be discussed in a relationship." Yeah, they should have discussed that a long time ago. That got downvoted to -41. Wow. That's almost as many comments are even here. And someone replied to that saying, "It's fine in moderation, just like everything else." Not everything else. You can't cheat in moderation. No, not everything else, but a lot of things. And another person responded and said, "No, it isn't. I disagree on the first point, but strongly agree on the second. No matter how you slice it, it is something that will only help a relationship to discuss it." True. Oh, this is a long comment. Oh, that's too long. I'm not going to read that. I think it's a little late in the game, personally, to establish this boundary. I'm not saying that she shouldn't, but chances are the outlook may not be that great. I guess it depends on the guy. If you are not comfortable with this, set the boundary now. Either he agrees, you compromise, or you both go separate ways. To be honest, I know you probably thought you never had to have had this conversation, but this should have been talked about years ago. I just said that. I wish you the best. And I don't care what anybody says. There's so much porn out there on the internet. There's really no need to save any of it. Everybody watches porn. But who is really going through the trouble to save it? Porn addicts? Does he have a lot of it? Because if that makes you feel uncomfortable, he should know and he should stop. If he can't, then that will tell you everything that you need to know. Yeah, I'm going to agree there is not really a need to save it unless you're trying to not have too many tracks behind you when you're exploring on the internet. Like if he had to log in there as often as he actually looks at it, those are more chances for him to get caught. And also, if you're using Google, well, she said iPhone. I don't know how iPhone works, but with Google, whatever you're doing on your Google account, it's going to show up in multiple places. So if you're also logged in on your tablet and your PlayStation 5, it will still show your history. It will still show your search history in weird places. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to keep his footsteps small by saving the porn that he can then refer back to as often as he wants to, with a lower chance of getting caught. I can see why he would do that, but that would require him having some idea that she would be offended by it. And I would put money on it that he has some idea, because they were together for 9 years and he hid it for 7. Okay, I understand, but like, is it more weird to have a go to that I know I'm into or spending time to browse? I guess I'm also kind of specific though, and it makes more sense to save. I have no idea what you just said. Not disagreeing with you, but many places are in the process of banning it, or sites are pulling out of certain areas, like Pornhub pulling out of Florida, after they passed a bill requiring government ID to use it. So, saving something that may very well be gone forever in the future, he's not doing that. Let's be real. He's not saving porn because porn is about to disappear. Highly unlikely. It definitely should be something discussed in a serious Okay, yeah, they should discuss it. Either both people are uncomfortable or it doesn't happen, or the relationship doesn't happen. Everyone's saying talk to him. Yeah, they were talking, but she struggled to find her footing to have a healthy conversation. She said they're usually pretty good at having conversations to solve problems, but this one caught her off guard, and that's okay. Oh, I think I'm going to like this comment. Relationship for 9 years at age 26? That sounds like you're the only woman he's ever been with. Oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to think about that. Oh my God, that hurts. I didn't want to say that, but I don't know this guy. I would like to hope that he's not, desiring other women. Oh no, he started looking at 2 years ago. He started saving the porn 2 years ago. Oh no, I didn't want to go there. I pray to God he's not thinking about other women, because that's even more painful than just looking at porn. If he's actually looking at the porn because he's starting to desire to adventure and taste other flavors of ice cream, as we said before, then that's really sad for her. But if they talk about it and he's honest, that would be legit. I hope they can be honest and open and just approach it in a healthy manner. And he doesn't end up cheating on her. Okay, let me finish this comment because it hurt. That sounds like you're the only woman he's ever been with. I don't know what it's like to be a man who has only ever been with a single woman, but I imagine it would be completely impossible to not at least want to see other women naked. That's kind of what I was trying to say earlier in the beginning. It's like, he's not cheating. At least he's not, going out with this sample spoon and taking samples. He's just looking at porn and enjoying himself. And you've seen some stuff after a while, like the porn thing. It's like, oh, thank God he's looking at porn. That's really sad to say, but that's the reality. That's the reality in our society. So I want to close with one of these comments, but gosh darn, they just keep going on. Here's a comment that I disagree with strongly, and -14 votes also disagree. It's just porn. Guys do that. He was probably rambling to you at the moment because he was embarrassed. If he's paying membership for porn sites, then that's his business. You're not married. Girl, that's a girl right there. Really? He was probably rambling because he got super embarrassed you found it. Okay, the part where she says you're not married, I don't care. I don't need a paper from the government to tell me I'm committed to a person. I don't think that person needs a paper from the government to tell me they're committed to me. Bottom line, they're in a committed relationship. It is her business. This is her person. This is the person that she's putting in for and she's sacrificing for, and vice versa. It is absolutely her business. The government doesn't get to decide whether or not it's her business. She has already done the time. She has already put in the work. It is absolutely her business. Her investment is absolutely her business. Thank you very much. Okay, I need to end this because I think we have a general idea what these comments are saying, really. He's a guy, perhaps with more years of experience, she will see the blessing in this situation. To have been together for 9 years, very clear communication, and he only looks at porn so little that she did not even know for 9 years. It sounds like it's not an unhealthy situation. But with her lack of experience and true understanding, maybe she didn't develop that sense of self-confidence. Maybe she doesn't understand the difference between her value and the value of a, static image of a chick doing stuff. It's very different. I don't know. My hope for their relationship, as silly as that sounds, my hope for their relationship is that they give this time, that they can work it out, that perhaps maybe with some couples counseling, they can, see eye to eye a little bit more. I kind of feel like as long as she's not able to not see it as a threat to herself, it's going to be a problem. And that's something that changes with self-development. And the self-development happens with experiences. And it sounds like the only experience she's going to be having is this man that she's spending her life with or would like to spend her life with. So I pray, I cross my fingers and my toes that please let them work it out and stay together, and don't let them turn it into an open relationship, because that's not going to solve the problem, Lord. Please allow them to find some common ground, remain in love, and committed to one another in a healthy way. By the grace of God. Amen. Yeah.